have discussions with girls, they're more concerned with how I say something in my tone versus the content of what I'm saying, right? But when I talk with men, you're a fat fucking loser, bro. You need to fix your shit. They don't care about the tone or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, okay, you know what? You're right. The difference with men is this. If the person that's telling them that they're a fucking loser is doing a lot better than them, they don't care about the tone. They don't care how it sounds. They just know, okay, this guy's doing better than me. He's telling me something that's objectively true. I will accept it.
This whole video is a great demonstration of how men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and modern women do not understand the differences between men and women. They do not understand that men do not think like they do. Let's watch.
With women, though, you guys don't care about none of that. It's about how it's said to you. So even if it's coming from a place of love and it's true, I don't like the way it was said to me. Even if the woman telling you is better than you, where she might make more money, more status, because women don't give a fuck about that deep down. If we got 10 women in a room and a chick walks in and she's a millionaire, but she's ugly, y'all are going to be like, that bitch is ugly. Who gives a fuck?
And this is the case because a woman's morality is based largely on her sexual process. Marrying young, not being a slut, finding a man of worth, having children, raising a house, being attractive. If people actually cared about women's achievements, then more people would be watching the WNBA.
But if 10 men are in a room, that dude's ugly, but he's a millionaire, we objectively all know where he stands in the room. We know that's the top guy because he makes the most money. With women, it's who's the prettiest one here.
But it's also like the quality of the man that you want. Like, if I'm so stupid and all I have is beauty, what can I pretend? Like, can I pretend to have a high-quality man? Because what these high-quality man is going to be talking to me about? Like,
well, he probably won't talk to you at all. I mean, you're just like, you know.
There you go. So what is it that you want as a man in your life? You just want a pretty girl next to you that does what you tell her to do?
You still get picked. You still get picked. You still get the opportunity.
Okay, so men do not look necessarily for quality. They just look for a companion, just for something that's sitting in there.
Quality is different for man and women.
Men do not like opinionated women unless they are brainwashed feminist losers or there's some neat on the internet who's hoping for some sort of trad wife that agrees with everything he already believes. And this Spanish woman doesn't get it because she fundamentally does not understand what men want.
Okay, there you go. So you as a high-quality man that's a millionaire.
Thanks, man.
Right?
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, bro. But you have done so much for yourself, and you got what you got also because of your intellect.
You're
taking it to the extreme.
Kick the shit out of your balls.
I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, but I think women put a lot of weight into it when it's not as important to us as it is to you.
That's true.
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Like,
Yeah,
you know
I
what I'm
can
saying?
agree.
So that's what
Okay, we got some more chats here.
The woman you want to marry and raise your kid. The woman you want to raise your children. Do you want her to have those critical thinking skills, or do you want her to be completely submissive to you?
Are you in a relationship?
Here's the thing.
Do you guys like independent?
Well, here's the thing. No.
Myron, are you in a relationship?
Yeah, Myron.
I love when girls ask me this question.
Think of it from the perspective of she's raising your
I'll answer
children.
that in a second. I'll answer that in a second. I love it when they ask that question. The critical thinking. So here's the thing about women, right? If you're the right guy and the girl's the right girl, she's going to become a critical thinker just by being around you.
And there you have it. Women are naturally followers, and they have a follower personality type overall. If you are in a solid, stable relationship with a woman, she will ultimately begin to reflect your personality. The great lie of feminism is that women are meant to be the main character in some way, which they are not. Only some guy with mommy issues wants some kind of ball buster to contradict him and question him with every decision he makes.
What I've realized is that women typically become almost a mini-me of the men that they're with.
Okay, so the woman you want to raise your children would be just a mirror of you. That's what you want to raise your child.
Well, that she's gonna have because here's the thing with girls. Like, let's say you watch sports and you're an Eagles fan. Well, guess what? Your girl's gonna become an Eagles fan too a lot of times.
It's so crazy how you're agreeing with. You're like, yeah, true. And he's just saying the same shit I just said.
No.
It's her girl becomes a reflection of your man.
No.
Yeah.
It is how he's saying it.
It's just so stupid. Like I said the exact same thing.
It's not rational, and that's the point. That's why there should be different rules for men and women. Men and women have different psychology.
Said it as women are incapable of thinking about like
SNEAKO,
independently.
welcome to our world,
period.
man.
But in general, he's correct.
No, you
in general,
said
he's correct.
incapable. How can you tell me that
It's a
I'm incapable of
generality.
being
He said in
independent
general.
where all I have
Not
been
all,
independent?
but in general.
In general.
No, all.
He's saying most
Come on,
can't.
man,
All of you.
Whatever.
Every single one.
No, I gotta ask you
the
this
shit out of your
because you
balls,
asked
I
me. Why did you ask me that question? I'll answer it for
Because
you.
this is just a lot of talk about relationships and
Yeah.
just
Stop the
curious.
cap.
Yep. I got. Yeah.
So
we got
would
it.
it be fair to say that you're like, this guy's making all these claims and talking about this, but does he even have a girlfriend? Right?
Yeah.
Is the question right?
Come on.
Is that why you
It
asked?
doesn't really matter if you do or don't. It's just like curiosity.
Women's number one shaming tactic when you say something they don't want to hear is to either say that you don't get girls or that you're gay, or some derivative thereof, or something like those two insults. It is their number one go-to. This is how you know you have annoyed a woman. And this particular instance with Myron and this woman was kind of backhanded and subtle, but you can still see it.
No.
You're stupid if you're not dating someone that's doing this and that.
Because he's talking
I'm
shit.
just curious if you are, you aren't. If you aren't, doesn't make any difference to this conversation. But if you are, then I'm kind of curious.
Are you not? That's
What
it.
quality
All right.
woman
I'm going to answer your question here. I'm going to answer your question for you here in a second. But let me ask you a question first.
Here we go.
Nice.
All right.
Men.
Are you fucking men right now?
Am I what?
I know it sounds crazy. Are you fucking men right now?
Oh.
Yes.
Multiple? Like what?
Doesn't matter. Yes.
Men is plural.
Don't answer the question.
No, if it's plural.
But it's a ridiculous question, isn't it?
No, it's not. He just said he's
Celibate.
yeah.
I don't know that SNEAKO is still doing this whole celibacy thing as of the recording of this video, but this is where he was at when this live stream was going on.
No. But you're a woman. Though. Isn't it ridiculous for me to ask you if you're fucking people?
Not in 2024.
But in general, it's pretty ridiculous, right?
So why would?
I'll explain here in a second.
It
don't worry.
depends. It depends on the
Answer the
context.
question.
Okay.
Not really.
Are you selective on who you fuck?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that women pick who fucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you
it's
can't
my
fuck you
body.
guys unless
right.
exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not getting raped every
Yeah.
sexual
exactly.
encounter. Yeah.
Exactly. So women control who fucks, and then men control relationships, right? So since you're selective on who you have sex with, wouldn't it make sense for me to be selective on who I commit to? You give out sex, I
Absolutely.
give out commitment.
I give out sex. That's no.
Yeah.
It's also with a level of commitment.
No,
so
no,
yeah.
no,
But I'm saying like women controls who fucks, men controls who gets relationships.
Yeah.
In general, which we're overgeneralizing everything, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's how it goes. Like, I can't have sex with you unless you allow me, and I can't give you a relationship unless I get down on one knee, or if I say, hey, you want to be my girlfriend or some shit, right? In general,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
So,
Now, this observation is notable because a man and a woman have different sexualities. A man can sire multiple children in a day. How fertile is a woman out of the month?
6.
6. Up to 6 days out of the month, a woman is potentially fertile. And so men and women are fundamentally different in that sense. And obviously, different moral rules should govern their sexuality.
what I'm saying is I just found it funny when you asked me that, because that's like me asking you, do you fuck people? Because I'm the one that picks if a girl gets a relationship or not. You're the one.
You triggered my trap card!
But to answer your question, yes, I do have a girlfriend. But I love it that when girls do say that, though, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to disqualify my advice and say, well, you don't even have a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't disqualify because men are the ones who give out relationships.
I mean, you overthought that.
Yeah,
I was just curious because we're all You're being the silent killer.
Excuses. Only the naive and the blue-pilled would not be able to see through what she was trying to do right there.
Simplify it now. You're trying to simplify it now because girls ask stupid questions like that a lot of the times where you in the back you're a cerebral attacker in the back
Is
of
it
your
a
mind.
stupid question? You're the only one that didn't contribute to the relationship.
No. Because women are sneaky. They ask questions like that to
They're
poke and
sneaky.
prod because they have ulterior motives. They're like, okay, he's saying all this advice shit. Let me see if this motherfucker's even qualified.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that
And like I said, it doesn't qualify or disqualify you either way.
No, because
Then
if
why
I
ask
said
it?
I was single, you would have been like, well, should you ever be giving advice? You don't even have a girlfriend. But what I'm trying to explain to you is a guy that doesn't have a girlfriend is not the same as a girl that doesn't have a boyfriend. You're a failure as a female if you don't have a boyfriend. For me, if I don't have a girlfriend, that means I just don't want to commit to these chicks. It's not the same. It's like a woman that I'm choosing to be celibate right now. That's a W for a girl if she says I'm celibate. Like, cool, I'm selective on who I fuck. Fantastic. I'm selective on who I commit to.
Right.
Do you want to get married?
Eventually, but not with the state involved.
Based. American legal traditions do not reflect the biblical definition of marriage, which assumes that the woman is a virgin and that a dowry is paid.
I don't know how malicious she was going with the question. You think, like, say we're only talking about money. Hold on, if we're only talking about money, we're going to want to be hearing it from a millionaire. Like, okay, you talk about money all the time. Like, what are your credentials? Right?
Yeah, but it's the wrong metric, though.
Yeah, but if it's a relationship podcast, like, that's like a genuine
But
question.
that's not our metric of success, having a girlfriend.
But she doesn't think it like a man.
Why I had to explain it to her.
Yeah. But do you think that's really like a sneaky question, or she's just asking?
Girls do it all the time, bro.
Every night.
Every single show, at least one girl's going to ask you, are you in a relationship? And
isn't that a valid question on the dating podcast?
SNEAKO is also a follower with low risk tolerance who will change his opinions with whatever he thinks will advance his interests. This is why you see him moving all over the board constantly. You know, whatever he was on at this time, he was influenced by some blue or purple pill philosophy.
That's an important question to ask, bro.
You guys don't know
the question. It only comes up after a debate like this.
Yeah.
Only after that.
They always ask it after, yeah.
Deep down, you know why.
We're not picking on you. It's just like, it's
I mean, it's really whatever topic. If we were still on the topic of how would you raise your kids, I'd say, do you have children? Like, how would you?
Yeah, but
if we're still on the body count thing, I'd say, hey, what's yours? Like, whatever. We're all going round table, like sharing our experiences.
But hold on. Me having a high body count is not the same as you having a high body count.
She's still curious. Again,
just a question.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm trying to say. Men and women are not the same. So we don't have the same.
Why are you asking this question? What's the question behind the question?
It's always that.
There's nothing sneaky about it. It's we all went around and sharing.
Remember how I said critical thinking skills? Like this, literally proving my point right now. Men and women are not the same. So therefore, we have different metrics of success. If I fuck a lot of girls, that means I'm doing something really right. If a woman's fucking a lot of dudes, she's doing a lot of things wrong.
This is an opinion reflected by the Bible. If you look at every hero, every champion that God put forward, it's a man who gets a lot of women who is ridiculously successful. This is one way that you can tell that God has blessed a man in his life, that he is a ridiculously successful Giga Chad. All of the mainstream versions of the major religions teach universal morality. That is, sexual morality applies equally to men and women. When you look in the Bible, you look in the Old Testament and in the Christian New Testament, and you see this isn't the case. It comes down on loose women way harder than it comes down on men. And you look at this term in the New Testament, which is often translated as fornication, wrongly so, and it's actually a universal term for sexual immorality as previously defined by the Old Testament in Leviticus 18, because it's a term for general sexual immorality. This is why you will see it updated from fornication to sexual immorality. Even in Corinthians, which some trad cons like to try and cite to disprove me, this is Paul's advice for people's sexual behavior during a time of crisis. He's not laying down new sexual laws here. The scripture tells men to go forth and multiply. God wants you to be a Giga Chad and not some loser, neat hermit who just contemplates theology all day. He wants you to be a man, a successful man. The Lord of the universe wants men to be successful.
Because for me to fuck a bunch of girls as a guy, I have to bring a lot to the table. For a girl to fuck a lot of dudes, she's probably losing the table. Yeah. It's not the same. So me having a girlfriend versus you having a boyfriend are not the same. A girl that can't land a guy and get him to commit to her is a failure. Me being selective on who I pick, that's me being a winner. Me fucking a lot of girls, that's me being a winner. A girl fucking a lot of dudes, that's her being a loser. We're opposites. So therefore, we have different metrics of success.
My question wasn't to compare myself to you.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
like a metric-based question.
Women refuse to understand this truth, in part because they've already made so many bad choices.
I think that what he's saying is that you wanted him to prove himself on all these conversations.
I get it. That just wasn't the etymology of the question, but it's all good.
See,
we're on a tangent now.
But as somebody giving advice, don't you want to prove yourself as a subject of a person of authority? Don't you want that?
What was that?
You being the runner of this podcast, don't you want to position yourself as a person of authority?
Yeah, but asking a guy if he's in a relationship is not the metric of success to show that authority.
So yeah, the conversation that you guys had kind of shows your belief system, right? That being married, is that a success to you, for a man? Being married?
Here's the thing. It is a success thing, but if you're a top tier guy, then you have your pick of the litter and you just pick the best girl.
Now here's a point I'll make. A man not being in a relationship can be a good thing or a bad thing, and a man being married can be a good thing or a bad thing. It all kind of depends on whether or not he's voluntarily not in a relationship, because maybe he's not in a relationship because he's a low-value man who can't get a girl, or maybe because he's playing the field because he's got a lot of options. And it's the same thing with marriage. Maybe he's married to some low-value slut who he can't do better than, or maybe he's married to a high-quality woman. It all depends.
Right, but is that the goal for you, for the audience, to be married to a...
I think a guy's number one goal should be to create impact in the world, and then everything falls underneath that.
I agree,
because women will come. The thing is once you become that guy, women are gonna come after and want your last name.
Agreed.
You just gotta pick the best girl to give that last name to.
I agree completely, but you said it earlier. I'm not sure if you said this, if I understood correctly. You said like it's a metric. Guy fucking a lot of girls is a metric of success. Do you think that is that a barometer of success? Fucking a bunch of women.
It indicates a sexual market value. But whether he chooses to actually enact on it or not is up to him. But my thing is, a guy that can have sex with a lot of girls, he's basically exuding his high sexual market value.
Okay, so do you agree it also shows some other qualities about him?
What do you mean?
Maybe.
What do you mean?
I understand what you're saying.
Some negative qualities.
Let me ask you a better question.
I want her to clarify specifically what she means so I can answer it specifically.
I wouldn't want to have a guy that has a high number, like a high count.
You wouldn't even know.
Women only begin to say they don't want a guy with a high body count after they've been damaged by Chad.
You wouldn't even know.
It's one thing to be able to get those, to
tell.
have access, but then to exercise your access versus...
Correct.
Using discernment. That shows another level. That brings you from being, okay, I'm here, I can get a lot of women, to I'm here, I can get a lot of women, and I still choose to be selective.
That's the question I was
about
going to
who
ask.
I give my body.
Myron, what's a more valuable man? A man who can get a lot of pussy and chooses not to so that he can focus on his mission, or a guy who can get pussy and then focuses all his time on fucking the women?
So you just showed women that you give it out, right? You're not this person, you're this person.
SNEAKO, like the purple-pilled snake that he is, ends up siding with this woman who just wants to undermine men being strong and men being Chads. He creates this false binary where a man is either celibate because he's totally focused on something, or he's wasting his time getting a bunch of girls. Now, some of my followers were concerned with this very issue. Austin says, while having many wives and concubines makes productive contribution from the man who is able to provide for his large family, promiscuity outside of that only serves to remove women from the marriage pool or negatively affects their mental health, since microchimerism occurs with every man a woman sleeps with. The man who pumps and dumps really only dumps his seed down the drain or sires a fatherless child. Quote, a father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation, end quote, Psalm 68:5. Now, that specific Bible verse is not an admonition of men who pump and dump. This is father of the fatherless could be referring to orphans or something. Now, I can agree with the part that sleeping with a virgin does remove her from the marriage pool, and if you were to come to me and say, hey, I'm going to pump and dump this girl who's never been with any guys before me, I'd say that's probably a bad idea. But that's not 90+% of women after you're like 20. And if you are a low SMV Christian man, playing according to this celibacy doctrine is only going to hold you back, right? The moment you get a girl, I guarantee you she will have been with multiple guys before you, and I've seen this happen before with a lot of Christian guys, they become simps, right? She becomes their only access to sex, and they end up worshiping her over it. And at this point, if there are any trad cons who are still watching, who are super offended at what I'm saying and telling me I'm being blasphemous, like, I can guarantee you there are men in your own congregation who, on paper, theologically, agree with your opinion on men having premarital sex being wrong in all cases, who are still doing it anyways. You know? So, practically speaking, this view of men having premarital sex in all contexts being wrong is not only unenforceable, but is just ridiculous. Like, it's not... You have people who... Christian men who are saying this who then aren't even following through with it. Right, I had this evangelical friend who had this huge meltdown when I told him that polygamy was not prohibited by the New Testament and is therefore not immoral. He had this huge meltdown, and now he's in a relationship. He was also already divorced by this point. He had a failed marriage because his parents wanted to avoid him fornicating, so they pushed him into this marriage with this girl who he wasn't able to rule over. She divorced him, their marriage ended, and now he's currently not married. He's a divorcee and is screwing this girl in the military. So even though he'll tell you that, fornication's prohibited by the Bible, marriage is between one man and one woman, he's not even following that. He's having sex outside of marriage with this girl. Complete hypocrite, according to his own religion.
Which is, it's better than being down here, but you're not up here.
Okay.
I thought you were smart, man.
Look.
God damn.
Whether the man chooses to enact on his high sexual market value or not is a personal choice. But my point is you need to have the sexual market value where you can choose. I want the man to be able to choose.
Okay, but once you have that choice,
yes.
Yeah.
What is a more successful man? Somebody who chooses to enact on all his sexual desires, or somebody who chooses not to so that he could focus his energy on his mission?
That's the freedom.
Someone who has
That's
discipline or
That's the
doesn't.
freedom. No. That's the freedom. As a man, you choose for yourself what's best for you and your family.
That's the W. Is the ability to choose is the W.
Okay.
Myron and Fresh have the biblical view here.
You choose what's best for you and your family.
No. You're determining moral standards for each person, right? Ultimately,
it's not moral.
What?
It's a success question, and you're saying what's best for you and your family. I can't see any scenario where fucking a bunch of women is good for you and your family.
Thank you.
Well, again, if the man wants to have a family or not is up to him. I'm just saying
But
in general.
You said family,
but it could be. I'm just saying for him, it might be maybe his dog. I don't know. Whatever it is for him. I'm just saying, as a man, make a choice for yourself.
Okay, but once you this is a question that I haven't seen brought up on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have that choice, what should the optimal man be doing? Should he be exercising that and fucking a bunch of women, or deciding not to so he can use his energy? Because fucking a bunch of whores, we all know how much energy that is. Exactly. It's a bunch of time, it's a bunch of semen, it's all this energy, it's stupid conversations, it's headaches. What is a better use of your time, and what is a metric of a more successful guy?
And suddenly all the whores begin to agree with SNEAKO.
Then now we need to go into his age, what he still has left to do, where he is
30
in
years
life,
old.
all that
30 years old, he's a millionaire. He has the options. Like, what's a better thing for him?
Does he want to scale his business up and make even more money? Then
every guy does.
Of course. Okay, every guy does. In that case, then yeah, he should probably focus on his business and not bitches. Of course. But it depends on the guy. Every guy's different. My thing is,
of course, like every man is going to be a 30-year-old millionaire. Like, come on.
I just want the guy. My thing is, I want the man to have the high sexual market value so he can choose. The problem is that most guys are losers and they have to deal with the cards that they're dealt with, and they don't have the choice. That's my problem. And then the girl ends up choosing.
There's a bunch of losers that fuck a bunch of bitches.
So then why do you fall for it?
What's the difference?
Don't fall for it.
Wait. If you have a lot of money.
Women chronically, here's the thing. Women chronically overestimate how much men actually get laid. Guys,
Myron hits the nail on the head here again. Men will go, oh man, it's such a problem that all these women are being sluts. And then women will go, oh well, men are allowed to sleep around, but now women aren't. And then a lot of these Christian men attempting to be consistent with their universal morality, which is not in the Bible, it's from Platonism, but they'll be like, oh well, I guess you got us. I guess that's not fair that, men get to sleep around, but women don't get to sleep around. And you know what? The fact of the matter is, the reality of the matter is that men don't get to sleep around. It's hard for a man to do that. This is an apex fallacy, right? Women want to live like the top 1% of men. Your average man isn't getting laid left and right, as I'm sure you know. It's in fact quite hard for a man to do that. You have to be a successful man, or you at least have to appear successful to women, and because women's barometer is off, and you'd have some sort of tough guy who's still a bum, and they'll still go and sleep with them. Anyways, when you as a man and you're not in some sort of grind on your business, you have some sort of bigger project that you have to work on, when you're playing into this celibacy doctrine, you ultimately end up facilitating these women being loose, and you end up in the same position as SNEAKO, advocating against men becoming better, stronger, more Chad men. You ultimately end up arguing against male self-improvement. And, you know, I'm not trying to call anyone out or attack anyone in saying these things, but I got to ask you, like, where do you think in your life that your celibacy is getting you? You really got to check your heart on that. Male celibacy doesn't have a value, you know? Like, you're probably, like, if you're like your average guy, like, being celibate isn't going to get anywhere. It's not going to fix the fact that women are going out and sleeping with tons of guys. You know, they're just going to do that without you anyways. So my opinion on the matter is go out and slay, go out and be a Giga Chad, go out and hit the steel, you know, lift, go out and take dominion of the earth as the Lord of the universe intended you to. Go out and be a man. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you found it informative. If you found it enjoyable, please share it, because that is the #1 way you can support this channel, and red channels will catch you in the next one.